Not because I pray and fast. No be your show, no be jazz.
Welcome back. Now, let's focus on the Nigerian worker. May 1 is just a few days away. It's on Tuesday, which is Workers' Day. So the Labour Congress has constantly decried the attitude of Nigeria's leaders to workers and their plight, lamenting that the plight of the poor and the downtrodden were never their concern. With high inflation and the economy, well, they say we have come out of
recession. Yes.
But the economy is still a bit distressed. Many average Nigerians are having a downturn in their living standards, barely able to meet their basic needs. Now, you must remember Peter Esele. He's the former TUC president. Good morning.
Good morning.
He went for governorship in some in Edo State, didn't he? Am I mistaken?
Something like that.
Something like that.
So I'm not mistaken. And we also have with us the Osun State Commissioner for Regional Integration, Mr. Bola Ilori. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. Now, of course, I think it will be apt for me to comment on or to start with the 18,000 naira minimum wage, Peter. That can't buy anybody anything in today's Nigeria. So you all are now screaming for a new minimum wage. Aptly too, one would say.
Yes, and I think you and I have had the conversation similar to this in the past. You remember, I was part of the committee that negotiated the 18,000 minimum wage. As at that time, it was 100.
Yonks ago.
Yes, yes. And we now put into law that it should not be done every 5 years. Normally, you can have workers, we look at our standard of living and we come up, and sometimes 10 years, nothing is done. So the workers and the government now agree that, okay, let us not be doing it every 5 years. And if you now look at it, at that time when we had the 18,000 minimum wage, it was 120 naira to the dollar. So what you have now is 360 naira to the dollar. So if you now do that, so 18,000 naira, if you divide it, you find out that is the 18,000 naira you think you have in your pocket now may actually be 9,000 naira in terms of the purchasing power. So that is why you have the workers now coming up and say, okay, let's have a new minimum wage that can be able to sustain people. Because even to treat yourself for malaria, it's the minimum, if you go to any of these HMO, is 4,500. So for a family with 4 children, I don't know how they are going to cope with that. So 18,000 naira minimum wage. And unfortunately, you will still hear some state governors saying that it's too much, that they can't pay. If you look at the majority of the state governors are owing workers salaries.
So Peter, if they're owing at 18,000, what would be the point of advocating for more? Because they won't be able to pay anyway.
Yeah, they can't pay. One of the things you also have to look at is there are areas where even workers have been able to look at it that, yes, they can cut costs. Now, you and I know that most of these state governors have what we call security votes. Nigeria is the only country in the world whereby you have funds that are not accounted for. There is nowhere in the world where public funds are not accounted for. Every single 1 naira that taxpayers' money are accounted for. But here in Nigeria, governors tell you this is security vote. Security vote is their largest. So what workers are talking about, let us cut what the Americans would call, let us cut the pork out of the budget. And then when we're able to take that out of the budget, it will be easier. There's enough for everybody. All we need is to have the discipline and the commitment of wanting to make life easier for everybody. That's what the workers are. They're not asking for too much.
Mr. Ilori, NLC has accused our leaders, and you are one of them, because you are a commissioner, of not taking their plight seriously. And let's be serious, without workers, you wouldn't have a state.
Yeah.
So how true is this allegation against you all?
Thank you. Let me say that the issues being raised about 18,000 minimum wage, looking at the cost of living index, I doubt if anybody would have any argument against the fact that it's so low now.
Okay.
As of the time...
Thank God for that.
Yeah. As of the time it was being said, it's not as if it was even appropriate. That was 2011. But life has moved on now. So I doubt if anybody is arguing about the fact that 18,000 is low now. What the issues coming up now is different. Before, we say, no, they don't want to increase. I doubt if anybody has argued. But what people are now saying is that, there is need for a total overhaul of our remuneration system. Our remuneration system has not been promoting productivity. We've been largely arbitrary. We just look now. What are we debating now? I doubt if anybody is debating whether there will be increment or not. That's not the issue.
There has to be.
Yeah, there will be. But at what point? Where do we strike the balance between ability to pay and the need to pay? I want to tell you that for as a matter of fact, today, not all the states has even implemented the 18,000 anyway. Some states have not implemented 18,000. So if we now move it to 50,000, for instance, somebody who cannot pay 18, how will you tell the person to pay 50? So we'll just be entertaining ourselves.
But the salaries and emoluments of these public officers, government officials, it's not been the same since 2011, for instance.
No, you are missing. The public has different perception from what is happening in government. Government salary, political office holder salaries are fixed by the Revenue Mobilization Commission. It has been fixed. It has never changed.
Okay. Let's take away emoluments for government workers. Let's look at the man who is supposed to be earning 18,000 naira, who hasn't even got it yet. Government is owing him 18,000. And he sees the blatant waste that is going on in government. So how do you want him to actually sit down with equanimity and take the fact that his meager 18,000 naira cannot be paid? And the government is riding around in a convoy of 20 black jeeps.
Let me.
That to him is waste.
Yes, I agree with you. You are looking at government as we and them. It's not so for civil servants. They are part and parcel of the government.
Of them.
Yes, that's the reality. That's the reality. Yes, if you are in government, and you will attest to it, that no political office holder can take 10 naira without civil servant. So nothing happens without the knowledge of both parties. So don't look at it as we and them. Is it that the public now look at them and them? You understand? So that
so are you saying all of the aides and even the government officials, for instance, in states that are owing salaries, they also have not been paid?
Yes. It's common to everybody. Those are not the issues.
Mr. Esele,
he will intervene, please. Let me just say, those are not the problem. The problem is that we are focused more. Labor is about creation of wealth. And when I say labor now, I'm not looking at civil servants only. These politicians too are engaged to provide for the people. The civil servants are engaged to also provide for the people. So the real stakeholder here, the real major beneficiary of our services are the people. So the civil servant and the politician comes together to provide for the people. But what we are looking at, which is key, is that at what is the cost of this our labor, both politician and civil servant, and how do we create wealth? Because labor is about creation of wealth. It is our surplus value.
So you are talking about how much is it that the workers are even putting in terms of productivity?
Workers now, both politicians and civil servants.
Now, you heard him talk about the need to pay and ability to pay. That invariably tells you that they are not interested in even the increase. Because when he started this conversation, he said nobody's talking about increase, that increase will come. But if you now also move on to need to pay and ability to pay, that automatically puts a question mark whether you want to do the increase. That's on its own. Now he talks about emolument for workers, for political office holders. You and I know that no political office holders ever go back the same after 7. And that is one reason why it is a do or die affair. If I know, yes, you were talking about I contested for an office and everything. If I know that I want to serve, no matter what happens, I know that I have a job to go back to. and I'll go back to my job. Yep. But when you have most of political office holders don't even have a job to go back to, so at the end of the day, they want to get as much as they can get. And now the in thing now is that you have governors who became senators who are still collecting pension, and you have governors who are leaving their states, and when they are moving out, they increase pension. Some of them collect pension that, will pay thousands of workers' salary. That is also taking place. So if I keep saying it, if politicians are asking workers to tighten their belt, workers can't allow them to loosen theirs. If you say workers should tighten their belt, you too, as a politician, also have to tighten your belt. You also have, you see, it's not just one thing. It's not one thing for you to have power and you refuse the responsibility that is attached to power. So what workers are also asking for, also be responsible.
But what he raised in terms of productivity, there was a time I traveled to one state, and I went to the ministry. I was supposed to go interview someone. As early as 9 in the morning, in an office, they were watching movies.
Now,
so he's raised the issue of productivity. Yes. If we want to make more money to be able to pay, what level of productivity are the workers also bringing in?
Nobody tells you that there are no issues. There are issues. I'm not going to come here and tell you that, our workers are the best in the world. No. But what you must also ask yourself is that when there's a part of my place that when a tree falls on a tree, you first of all take away the one on top. Yes. You need to ask yourself, what are our values? I work for an oil company all my life. Why would I go and watch TV at 8 o'clock?
Of course, that's not to say every worker will do that.
I'll give you an example. That's why I talk about value system. What is your value? What do you take to work? And how do we respect people who are working? That's key. Because when there's no dignity in labor. In this part of the world, you don't respect people for doing what they do. You are sitting on this chair now. I'm sitting on this chair now because somebody came here and cleaned this chair to make it easier for us to sit. But you are going to look at that person people look at those people with contempt and disdain. But when we go outside of this country, we see how they treat workers. They treat workers with respect. Okay, somebody was arguing with me. We had similar conversation yesterday, and I had to tell the person, I said, in Phoenix, Arizona, teachers were on strike yesterday. Nobody went to school in Phoenix. Last week it was in Ohio.
The week before it was Oklahoma.
It was Oklahoma. If this had happened in Nigeria, I would say, what is wrong with these teachers? Who abuse them, just like what happened in Kaduna. But the teachers are saying, we want X percentage increase. We don't want it to be board. Just say this is what goes to the teachers.
Peter, let me tell you, because you asked a question, rhetorical question, why would you go to work and watch TV? I'll tell you why you will go to work and watch TV. And this is instructive for you, sir, Mr. Ilori, because you don't give these people enough work to do. The civil service, whether at the state level or at the federal level, they're both over-bloated. There's not enough work for people to do.
I agree with you.
They go to work, watch TV, at the end of the month, they collect their salaries.
But let me,
so you can't be talking about productivity when you are the ones who don't give them any goals.
And again, please, before you even go to goals, so that we'll clear that, who is over-bloating the civil service? The same politicians. Now, he will say politicians and the civil servants are the same. But the first thing is to ask, who is over-bloating the civil service? It's the same politicians. Because at the end of the day, what you have, they come into office, they don't look at what, if you take, for example, channels now. You also have to look at where are the areas where you are lacking, and then you declare vacancies. Now they don't declare vacancies. They put in anybody because you are my friend, you are my sister, you are my brother. They come with their own cabinet, they load the place, and then when you load the place, government after government, they load the place, and then 10 years later, you are now coming that, the whole place is over-bloated and they should be fired.
Now, let me
please react.